Hey there, this is Asila Carter, and here we discuss love, weddings, travel, and finances, and everything that has to do after you've said the words yes and I do. Because here, marriage is not just a status, it's a culture. Okay, guys, let's chat.
I get to look down where my ancestors were sold as slaves, and now I get to look down and see
As you build your
and look how
business.
far we've come.
We're here with the beautiful Miss Sylvia Clanton.
Yes.
Clanton. And if you are from the Fayetteville, North Carolina area and you are in business, or you have gotten your credit fixed or have been looking to get your credit fixed, you probably ran across her name already.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what you do, what your business is, and what you do here in Fayetteville and beyond.
Yes. So my name is Sylvia Glayton. I'm an Army veteran. I also recently published my own planner. So it's the Mind My Finances planner. So published author too.
Okay.
Like, oh yeah. So I started my business, which is Persona Solutions, in 2017. It started off as a credit repair company after I had my identity stolen. So I had to go through the process of getting rid of like $35,000 in debt. Yeah, they bought a car, they had an apartment, they had like a whole lifestyle, and here I am with a 500 credit score. Like I can't buy anything.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and I found out by getting that Credit Karma alert saying that it was a $13,000. It was like a Chevy HR or something like that, little Chevy. Yeah, bro, they had went and bought a whole car in my name.
Are you kidding me? So they built a whole life using your identity.
Yes.
And that's how you got started in the credit reservation.
Yeah, so I didn't realize, I didn't pay attention to credit. It was like one of those things where I was in the military, I met my husband, and I went and tried to buy a car, and I needed a co-signer, and he co-signed the car for me. So it was like one of those things I didn't pay attention to. So from 2014 to 2016, I was just like living. I had just got out the Army, and it was hard transitioning from being a civilian or being in the military to a civilian. So on top of that, I had my identity stolen.
Wow.
So yeah, I had to figure life out really fast.
Was it a trial by error that you learned how to restore your credit, or did you like purchase a course? How did you even begin? Because like that's something that a lot of people, married or not, go through trying to figure that out. Ebooks and websites and, purchase this book, you'll have 800 credit score by, in 3 months. How did you get your credit score?
So basically we were actually living in an apartment, and we decided that the upcoming year we wanted to buy a house. So me getting my identity stolen, my credit being the way it was like definitely traumatic, because I'm like, I want to buy a house, I can't buy a house. They done went and bought everything in my name, so now I got to figure it out. So I ended up calling like a popular company, and I was working from home, doing a job, and I wasn't making that much money, so I couldn't commit to paying $130 a month for someone to fix my credit. So I joined a Facebook group that was like one of the first Facebook groups that really blew up in the credit repair world, and I learned that way. So I was doing everything manually, like actually pulling my credit reports, generating all my letters myself, and then actually my first clients were my parents.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
It gets better.
So wait a minute. So, and that's so funny you just mentioned that, because we talked briefly before we went live and started recording about how, adult children, how much they impact the parents' lives.
Yeah.
So here you are, the child, and now you've gone through this traumatic experience. You learn something from it, which I always tell my kids all the time, the best teacher is life. Like experience, going through all the things that you go through, those are going to be your best teachers. And you came out on the other side.
Yeah. It was insane, because as a kid, I would always hear my mom say she wanted to move back to this particular area, because it's like the country here in North Carolina. We have, open fields and not on top of each other. So she would always tell me she wanted to move back there, and I would just listen to her say it, and I'm like, well, okay. Like, not thinking the next level, like, well, how are you going to make this happen, or what's your plan for making this a goal, or making this a reality. And it took me growing up to be a part of that process to make it happen. So in 6 months, we were able to repair their credit. And when I first called them and told them, hey, y'all, I know how to fix credit. Like, but you know, especially in the Black community, it's just something that we live with. But like, we got bad credit, we're not going to do anything about it because one, we're told that if you have bad credit, that's your best to clean up, and you have to, and not a lot of people know how to do it.
Right.
So when I called my parents and told them, they was like, whatever, we don't believe you. But then in 6 months, they got their pre-approval to build a brand new house from the ground up.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so was that what was stopping them from being able to move back here? The fact that they did not have good credit?
No, it was just the fact of, I would say they wasn't aware of the resources. They wasn't aware that they could fix their credit.
But I mean for them, like was that their thinking pattern that we're not going to be able to go back to be able to live the way we want to live because that's one of the factors. We don't have good credit. Do you think that was how they were thinking at that time?
I don't even think credit was a thought.
Even
like,
a thought.
I don't think it was a next level thought of how I know I want these things, but what do I need to do to get those things? I don't even think fixing their credit or them not having the credit was
even on their mind.
Yeah, it was just pretty much like, hey, I want to buy a house, I want to build a house, but not really, and that's what a lot of people lack. They don't know that until you look into it, or until you actually do the work to figure out what the next steps are, then you won't reach a goal because you're just kind of waiting around for that goal to reach you, and it doesn't work like that. So, you know, it just fell out of the sky really that they were able to do this. Like, you know, my mom was working a really good job, so she was able to, you know, get their approval. They made enough money to make it, and then they had the credit. So those things came together, and it just happened. Yeah. There was no plans, like no plans on building this house or getting it ready.
That's so funny. You're the second person who I've had a chance to talk with, purchased a house, built from the ground up. She was a single mom at the time, and she was able to, and she said the same thing. She literally kind of stumbled upon the opportunity to be able to do it. And now she does budgeting. She helps people budget and go back to clean up the things that they are needing to clean up. She was a guest on my live before. So, you had this experience, you're a newly married couple, right? How did the finances, you said, you know, and without, you know, getting into your personal finances, how much you made a year, but, you know, I talk about stats a lot when it comes to married couples, and one of the most harshest stats I think I've ever come across is the fact that 37% of couples divorce due to financial issues, right? And you know, here I am thinking it's something like infidelity or, you know, right? But it's money issues, right? So for you deal with credit and you help couples and people build their credit. How did it impact you and your marriage that, you know, how did you guys start that conversation, right? Because I really stress the communication, and sometimes money can be a really awkward conversation to bring up with someone. You may not have a healthy, you know, outlook on money. You don't know where they stand. You know, you just know you're in love, you're gonna get married, right? But we haven't talked about money. We haven't talked about goals. How did you start the conversation with your husband to say, okay, listen, you know, this is where my finances are. It's in shambles right now, and we gotta fix it. How did that begin?
I'm gonna say that because my husband is about 7 years older than me, so he has a longer credit history than I do. So he can get to an 800 credit score versus me going through this. I had to start completely over and might have like 2 or 3 years worth of credit history. So my credit profile wasn't as strong as his, but it was worth the conversation to let him know that I knew how to improve it. And it was one of those things where, like I said, a lot of people in the Black community think that if you have bad credit or you have debt on your credit report, that you need to pay the bills. But it's like, okay, we have these consumer laws that help us get around those kind of situations. So it's really, I took the time to educate myself on how to improve my credit on my own, because like I said, he already had good credit, so I didn't really have to worry about that. And then when it comes to like the finances, it was really, really important for us to get on the same page with that. So, you know, like you said, not to get into my personal
Right, right.
but what we do is we pretty much have one account where we pay the bills, so we make sure that whatever we do, our bills are paid each month, and then we have our individual accounts.
Okay.
So then that helps us not have like one of those things where, oh, I can't go buy anything, because I do meet a lot of women who are not financially independent. And what happens is they're married and they've been marriages for a long time, and then their husband might up and decide they don't want to be with them anymore. So now I gotta decide, I got bad credit, I don't have any money in the bank, and 9 times out of 10, I gotta take the kids with me and I gotta go figure life out. So it's very important for me to teach women how to be financially independent and just figure out ways so that way they don't have to solely depend on their husband, because you want to depend on him, but push come to shove, you want to know that you got us too. Like if something happens to my husband, I have his back. I can help him financially.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Absolutely. There's a saying I always say, it's okay to be kept, but know how to keep yourself as well. You know, and I think that is really important. I think that, you know, that when you get that ring on your finger, it's like you reach the destination.
Oh,
Right?
it's still work.
Oh, it's still work. That's like the beginning of the journey. That wedding is that opening that door saying, hey, we've arrived, now let's begin this journey.
Yeah.
What other services do you offer with the business outside of the credit restoration? What other services? Because you know, you hold them back. I know there's a whole lot that you offer. So give us some other services that you offer.
So we just recently added tax services to our list of services. So that falls under Persona Solutions. And then with the business side, I offer business coaching. So typically what I do is I take my clients through like a 90-day process. And from start to finish, we help with like the branding, the marketing, like who is your target audience, you know, how much money do you want to make, and those are the kind of things that I address there. And I'm really good at marketing. And the reason why I say that is because recently I lost my page in October of last year. And so I didn't get another Facebook page until about November, but right now it's on February and I'm already at like a 50,000 reach.
So wait, what do you mean you lost it?
It's gone. Like I had to start I had this Facebook page since 2006.
And it
just disappeared, and let me tell you, it was a blessing though. Like I feel like it was a blessing because of my I lost it.
Social media platforms.
But what I teach my clients is it's very important outside of you having these social media platforms that you're figuring out a way to get these people into your platform or into your pipeline.
Absolutely.
So a lot of times what I did is I would use like Google Chrome extensions. It's that you can connect to like your domain and stuff like that, and it will drive people to give you their email addresses and their phone numbers. So then I was able to put that information into a third-party system. So then that takes me completely off of social media, and I don't have to solely depend on social media for, you know, my business. Really how I was able to like grow faster once my Facebook page was shut down and I lost it. So,
and you said that was a blessing. How did it become a blessing?
I feel like it was a blessing because I got rid of the people who were just sitting there watching. You know what I'm saying?
I just knew you were going to say that. Go ahead.
And it's like the people who really truly wanted to see me win, they knew how to find. I feel like those people who came to find me are truly like my tribe, because you want to have people around you that don't feel like they're in competition with you.
Absolutely.
Or who don't feel like, you know, that, you know, you're going to take something from them. It's like, because if I take something from you, God never intended for you to have it in the first place.
I hope y'all paying attention. Like, I really hope you guys are paying attention to these nuggets that Miss Dobbin, because listen, you guys know that I'm a firm believer in what's mine, nobody will ever have. And what's not for you, you have to learn how to work around that and say, okay, that wasn't for me, next. Let's keep
stops nothing.
Right. You have to keep going. You know, you're still alive. You're still.
We shoot the podcast here and we just have different backdrops and stuff that we can. So this space is a content creation space. So pretty much I thought it was a good idea because Fayetteville don't really have anything like this, for me to do a business where professionals can come and shoot content, take pictures, and do photo shoots. We're doing a podcast here today.
And it's a beautiful space. We kind of came in and rearranged it just a bit. Hopefully we get a peek to see what else she has going on here. But go ahead. So the other side, you're opening up the business cohort to be able to.
So pretty much what I wanted to do is, again, because artificial intelligence is like really taking over automations and all those kind of things. And I'm like a nerd when it comes to like, if I can automate something, I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm able to sit here with you right now because my credit repair business is automated, and I've been able to learn how to delegate. Personamit Solutions.
Personamit Solutions. Okay.
And that's where the become the person you're meant to be person, aimant.
And this all came from, now, you said you were in the military. And so did all of this, I know you said that the credit came from, that dark place where you had your credit identity stolen. But did all of this business come from that tragedy?
Yeah. Yeah. So like when I left for the military, I had to, because I had no discipline. Like I would cut you out. Like I was a totally different person than I am today. So it was like I gotta get out of the 2-6 because the 2-6 is taking over me. Like I was a totally different person. Like so I left in 2011, and then from like I said, from 2014 to 2016, it was a really point in my life where I was trying to find out like what am I going to do. I was working at call centers. I was working at clothing stores, just like doing all kind of stuff. But I knew that I was a boss, right? So because I was always the one who could help like my friends. Like whenever I left Fayetteville, I was crushed because everybody fell apart. I was that one person that held everybody together. So I knew that I had what I needed to like be a leader and offer other resources. Now my delivery may be whack sometimes, but
that's something that we're working on, right? Something that you're absolutely working on. You know where I hear that from the most? It be your own kids. It be your own kids. It's funny.
Like, why are you talking to me like that?
Exactly. And it's like, I'm just trying to I'm really passionate about what I have to say. And sometimes it may come across a little hard, but your intentions are in the right place. So but you're learning that, right?
I'm definitely learning, and I'm using those experiences of me learning those things to be able to help other people.
For married couples, after the pandemic, a lot of people lost jobs, and they are coming into a whole new arena of, being self-employed, right? And you have, you have a lot of folks out there that say, we're going to be the next power couple, we're going to be the next hit, we're going to make this money, we're going to do all of these things. And you touched on some topics that would really help, some couples who are going down that road. Some of them by choice and some of them by force. A lot of people unfortunately lost their jobs, with the pandemic. Where do you start? Say a couple comes to you and they say, listen, we have this business idea. We're both from corporate America, or we worked in this is a whole new arena for us. How do they start? How do they even begin? They found you. Now what happens?
My first question is always like, how is your personal credit? Because at the end of the day, that's like something that will stop you in your tracks.
Even with business, dealing with business, the personal credit is going to stop you with your business. Okay.
If you don't have like investors or anything like that, then you have to fund that business. And in order for you to be able to fund the business in a way that it needs to go, you want to make sure that you have good personal credit.
Okay.
Because sometimes you go into and you done did all this work for your business, and you might have filed bankruptcy 2 years ago, or you're still in the middle of bankruptcy, and now you're to the point where your business needs to grow and you want to scale, but you can't because your personal credit is bad and nobody will give you anything.
Wow.
So I think that is the very first step, is addressing like the personal credit issues. Outside of that, I have clients now who are a married couple who are doing really good in business, and they were able to get government funding. So, just knowing that whenever you want to start a business, you start thinking about like your personal finances, because you know that you can't give this business your all if your finances are not where it needs to be. Because then you're in survival mode, because you're like, okay, I want to run this business, but it's not paying my bills. Now I got to go get another job that's going to take away attention from me. And those type of people are not my clients, just because I would say you want to make sure that you stick to the plan, or that you have a plan. And the reason why I say those people are not my clients, I would say that because when it comes to doing business, you have to have some type of structure. You have to have discipline. So it's like, okay, if I want to have you as a client, then we have scheduled times we need to meet. We have scheduled things that need to get done during that time of us working together. So it really takes a person that's committed and dedicated to the process to see it all the way through.
Absolutely.
Because if not, then you're wasting my time and yours.
And probably a lot of money.
Yeah.
Spending wheels, spending money in places that, are not gonna mean much because you're gonna run into this brick wall once it gets to a certain point.
Yeah, so I'm actually working on a book now, and it's Becoming the Person That You're Meant to Be, Trust the Process. So,
title of the book? Yes. Oh my goodness, wait, say the title again. Say it for the people way in the back. Speak it to the mic.
Becoming the Person You're Meant to Be and Trust the Process.
Becoming the person you're meant to be, trust the process.
Yes. Yeah, because I would say that like social media has everybody thinking that things are happening overnight, that you can get this business credit, and if you get access to $100,000, then you're gonna go and flip that $100,000 the next day. And it's just like, what happens in between me trying to flip that $100,000? I may lose that $100,000 and get it right back. Just different things that I think is all a process. So that's what I try to teach, because at the end of the day, you can get access to business credit, but what's your plan with it?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. And one of the things that I really, just starting from home, teaching my children is that, becoming wealthy is not just having that money, that dollar amount in the bank. It's the mindset that has to go along with it. Because you can give $1 million to someone who has a poor spending mindset, they're going to lose that $1 million. They won't be able to get it back.
Right.
That might have been a fluke.
Right.
But if you have someone who's wealthy, number one, they've been through, like you said, that process. And that process is again, like you said, that dedication, the consistency that you need in order to be successful and come out on the other side. Wow.
I also have a membership program that's called I Don't Do Broke.
I don't do broke. I like that one. I don't. You like that? I don't do broke. Okay. So what is that about?
So that's pretty much, like you said, the mindset thing. A lot of people equate to being broke to money. But if someone says I'm broke, they're not really broke monetary. They may be, but it's more so about their mind.
Yeah.
Because I remember like the first time I said that to my husband, he was like, "Don't say that." I'm like, "What?" Like, I am broke, I don't got no money. But it was deeper than that.
Yes.
So eventually, like being in the business world, and I'm surrounded by so many people who are defeated because they feel like they don't have the money they need to do business. But it's like, okay, well, what is your mind gonna do about that? Like, are you gonna get up every day? And because you start from zero every single day, but are you gonna get up every day and make sure that in the long term that's not the case? So we in that membership program, I teach people from start to finish, which is pretty much learn how to launch their business, doing the marketing, social media, when it comes to like taxes, because a lot of times business owners, I know when I first started doing taxes, I used to write everything off.
Okay.
But that's not good if you're a business owner, because you want to be able to go buy things. So just teaching them that aspect is what the process entails.
Wow. And you said you teach classes also. Do you teach them on a platform? Is this virtual where anyone can come, or is this something that's in person? They can come and sit down if they're in the local Fayetteville area?
So we are working on something like that.
Okay.
But right now, the membership program, I'm going on my second year of having it, so I have like monthly group coaching calls.
Okay.
It's actually closed to registration right now, but we are working on like a business cohort where we can do like a 5-month program to where business owners can come. And actually, that's what the other side of the office is. I just wanted to do whatever I wanted to do. Even the military didn't give me the discipline that I needed. I think the discipline came from, I'm tired of starting stuff and not finishing it.
Woo.
So that was something I had to make up for myself.
Now that really resonated. That really touched some buttons with me, because that was me. And that, was me up until, very recently.
Yeah.
Where, you get tired of people coming back. I know for me, that's what it was. Well, what happened with such and such? Whatever happened especially if you're really excited about the next thing and you're coming to introduce it to them and they say, well, what happened with this? And then you say, oh, and each time they mention something else, you kind of, you know, you kind of slow down a little more.
I was so tired of that because I did it in high school. Like I wanted to run track. If I wanted to do something, I had people around me that would encourage me to do it. But then it would be me that would stop the process. So after a while, I'm like, you know, I'm gonna run this business, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make it $1 million company, I'm gonna help people, and I know that, you know, giving up isn't an option, because there's so many people now that see me living and doing what I'm doing. And like I said, I wake up on zero every single day, but I know that if I don't do what I need to do to make this business grow, then it won't. So yeah, so I just learn the skills and teach other people, and yeah.
And that's really beautiful. And that kind of brings it, you know, full circle to why we're doing this here.
Yeah.
You know, myself, just a little backstory, you know, myself and my husband, we married really young. I was 17, he was 19, and it was like, I married my best friend. You know, we didn't know anything. You know, neither one of us had the experience or we weren't surrounded by anyone who were in long-term marriages.
Yeah.
You know, we had a lot of folks that was looking, you know, when they were congratulating and patting on the back, but there was no one there to kind of guide us and say, okay, listen, you're gonna come across this bumpy road. You know, this is how you kind of navigate this. Or, you know, how are you guys doing? You know, you guys need to come and sit and talk on what, we were a whirlwind in the beginning. You know, we literally met, married, and we're pregnant with our first child all within the first year of meeting each other.
Me too. My husband in January, we got married. No, I met my husband in January, I was pregnant in March, we got married in July. And we've been together for almost 11 years.
We met in June, we were married by October, and found out we were pregnant, and we actually had two. If you listen, anybody that's gonna listen to my husband speak, he's gonna tell you, I married this woman 3 times. I married her 3 times. Well, the first time it was just it was ourselves, our imam, or like our pastor who married us, my mom, his mom, that was it. The next time, you know, we're from the hood, and the hood couldn't believe it. They said, wait a minute, who's getting married? What are you talking about? So everybody wanted to come, so we had another wedding in December, and we were pregnant at that time. So within that, you know, I say a year, but really like 6 months, we just knew we loved each other. We did not want to be apart. Our plan was we were going to move from New York to North Carolina. We were going to start our own businesses, and we were going to have 11 children. That's all we knew. That's all we knew, right?
And how many do y'all have?
We have a total of 14 children.
Yeah.
For us, marriage is, you know, it's such a beautiful entity. It's a beautiful experience. It's work, right? It's work, but it's beautiful work.
Yeah.
You know, it's the type of work where, you know, you can smile while you're doing it, because it's like, you know, and the work could be just as simple as, you know, he's coming home from a long day, you know, put his clothes out on the bed so you don't have to take it, you know, come home and find something to wear. But, you know, it's just, it's the thoughtful things. You know, sometimes it gets a little, because, you know, the person that you're in love with, you're like, that person gets cussed out the most, and they like, what did I do now? I just breathe. I woke up, I was breathing, you cussed me out, you know? But it's being able to rebound. But we're here doing this because, you know, yes, we have a wedding service that we're helping brides to, you know, create the vision for their wedding day. But the other side of that, you know, once they cross over that threshold and after they say I do, we also have a marriage planning service where we help them build a solid foundation in the first year of their marriage.
I definitely understand, like, because a lot of people do.
And you mean after you got married?
Yes, I got
And when you hit that first, like, now see, we didn't have anybody there to say, wait, don't do that. I'm on my way to you. You know, sit and we gonna talk and we gonna get through this. Or just stay put, don't rent the U-Haul yet. Right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're hoping to be. Someone who says, wait, don't get that U-Haul yet.
Yeah.
But we're, you know, the mission with this is to get them as they're coming into it, but get them under so that it does not go the route that we went. So I say we have 14 children, and you can't tell in our family who doesn't belong to who biologically, because unfortunately, we separated for many years, right?
Yeah.
You know, not because the love wasn't real, not because, you know, of any other reason other than, you know, we didn't have that guidance, and it was obviously God's will at that time. You know,
Right.
we had to come out in life and experience some things to be able to come back together. Well, you know, our hopes is, and our mission right now is to help married couples who are young, they're marrying for the first time, kind of get a heads up
Yeah.
as to what they're looking at when they say, I do.
Yeah.
That it's not all peaches and roses.
Because I thought it was a go be y'all. I'm like, Mama, I'm coming home. You need to come get me.
Standing beforehand
Yeah.
that, listen, you're going to come into this. And this is why I come out and I talk to not only married couples, but we interview vendors as well, because we want people to, you know, it's a whole conglomerate. We want people to know the process.
Yeah.
We talked about your businesses. We talked about what you have to offer, and I think that you have a lot to offer to, you know, not only couples, but just people in general. You talked briefly about a little bit of your marriage. What top 3 nuggets or advice, I hear you say nuggets or diamonds a lot, right? Would you give to a young married couple who's, you know, getting married? What advice would you give to them? You know, pick the top 3 things that you would tell them.
You want number 1
What's number 1?
is married people hang with married people.
Woo.
And that's something that my dad, you know, early on told like me and my husband, just because it's not even a trust thing, because a person's gonna do whatever they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it.
Yep.
But you lessen the chance of that happening if you choose the right kind of people to be around and hang around. So like, not all my friends are married, but they have, you know, significant others. We don't have to worry about them trying to do anything sneaky or anything like that. So I would definitely say married people, you know, should hang with married people.
I really hope that you guys are really taking notes and really, you know, this is why we're here, and Miss Sylvia is giving some of her time. I hope you guys are really grabbing some of these nuggets that are out there. And if you guys have any questions, anyone drop some questions in the chat for Miss Sylvia. Let's pick her brain. This is what she's here for. We ain't gonna hold her up too much longer, but if you have any questions on what she spoke of already, go ahead and drop them in the chat, and I'm gonna make sure that we get to hear the answers from Miss Sylvia. So number 1 was married people hang with married people. What's number 2?
Yeah, I would say communication. You know, like it's a lot of times before you get married, you hear people say, "Don't go to bed mad." But I feel like if I don't go to bed mad, then I might say something that I can't take back.
Oh my gosh.
So don't always feel don't feel the pressure to like always resolve it. Like just sleep on it. Like a lot of times, me and my husband will wake up and he'll be like, "Babe, I'm sorry," because we've had time to process it versus being forced to. Yeah.
And I'm sitting over here about to jump out of this chair, right? Because it's like, you know, leave me alone for a second. If we're in, you know, we're going through something and I walk away from it and I say, listen, it's going to take a bath, I'm going to get in this bed and I'm going to lay down, I'm going to go sleep. We may not have resolved anything.
Yeah.
But it gives me time to not, because
You've been a
I'm that one.
You can't take back.
Right. I'm that one, and apparently I'm not alone. So thank you, guys. Everyone always makes me feel like I'm like this tyrant. Like there's something wrong with me when I say that. But you don't realize how much, and my husband, you know, full disclosure, you know, we're working on this, you know, being a little more transparent. You know, we were to ourselves people. So this whole being transparent with our marriage in order to help other marriages. We're both very, I'll use the word passionate people, you know, and we're both very strong-minded. I'm going to say what I have to say. And he's going to say what he has to say. And this might turn into something that didn't need to turn into. It's like, okay.
I would say, you know, people create this picture where it's like a bed of roses, but like never go to bed mad. It's like, well, sometimes I'm gonna be pissed off and I'm not gonna be able to, you know what I'm saying? So I
What
think
you
that's
guys
really important.
While we talking about this, guys, you guys please put it in the chat. Put a number 1 in the chat if you're the type of person who say, listen, leave me alone, let me go to sleep, and we can talk about this another time, and put a 2 in the chat. If you're the type of person that says, do not go to sleep without, with being angry, don't go to sleep like that with your spouse. Because that's something that I think is huge. They say that when you get married, you become one. But you are still 2 individual people. Yeah. You both have separate, different upbringings. You both have different outlooks on life. You both have a different way of handling and dealing with something that's traumatic, something that is, you just have different views sometimes. And the respect of saying, okay, she does not like to, or he does not like to talk when angry. Given that time to say, you know what, just let her calm down, we talk about it in the morning. I think it just, I don't know, to me, I don't know who came up with that one. Yeah. I don't know who came up with that, but.
Wasn't it Neo?
Was it Neo? I think it's probably way before Neo. Right, I'll put you on there. I think it's way before Neo. Don't go to bed angry, right? No. And what's your number 3? So number 1 was married people hang with married people. Number 2 was communication and allowing a person to communicate the way. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but is that pretty much allowing a person to communicate the way they need to communicate in order to get okay?
Because you force it, and then they either shut down or again they say something that they can't take back, and now it's like it's bigger than what it could have been.
Right.
So, I would say the last thing is to make sure you still have some sense of individuality. So you say, you marry, you become one, but yes, you still need to have a life outside of your marriage so that way you're not so consumed with being a mom and being a wife. So, and having a partner that respects that. Like my husband, he has friends, he has one friend in particular here that he will go and hang out with, and I'm completely okay because I trust the friend, I'm okay, those kind of things. So I think that having that individuality still keeps it fresh too. So that way I can come back and do date night or get rid of the kids or something like that, but just, not being so consumed with each other.
Wow.
Where you don't have a life outside of your marriage.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I had a young lady, and they weren't married yet, but she did, want to know or want me to elaborate more on that, on that aspect. How do you become a wife, a mother, and not lose yourself in being that title, being the wife, being the mom, and still being able to have an identity of your own, still being able to do the things that you want to do. And I think that kind of circles back, for me, that circles back to that communication part. But first, you have to know what it is that you want.
Yeah.
Right? You have to know what it is that you want, whether it's, pursuing a business or, you just have a bucket list that you just would really like to accomplish.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, your goals may not always align, but figuring out how those goals can work to where they're not clashing with each other is really important too, especially with me being an entrepreneur and then my husband working full time. It's just like still figuring out how can I be an individual to the point where I'm not just, they say your beard, or I'm not just your wife, like I'm your partner. So you're not looking for me to just, pretty much do everything you say.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's beautiful. Let everyone know where they can find you. Just give us a rundown.
I have a planner. It's called Mind My Finances, which is another brand that I offer budgeting services and just different things like that. So it's a financial planner. It's on Amazon and it's also on our website, which is Personament. I'm gonna have to spell it, y'all, because it's long. It's PERSONAMEANT solutions.com. And that's also where you can find our credit repair services. For the most part, I hang out in the Facebook world, so you can look me up at Sylvia Glanton on Facebook. On Instagram, it's at Get Sylvia Tized.
I love it.
I came up with that name. I was working with actually a marketing coach, and like I said, my big thing too is for business owners to be organized. So Get Sylvia Tized is kind of like me helping you with your business and helping you get organized.
That is so, I love that. And that goes to show you guys she said she loved marketing, she loved branding. That's absolutely a branding move. You know, when you have a conglomerate of services that you offer, to pull it all into one, that is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like I said, you can find me on Facebook. I'm on Instagram and Twitter as well. Like I said, I try to maximize all of my platforms. You can find me on Pinterest.
Absolutely.
So pretty much, I try to make sure that people can find me, which is, you know, making sure you're optimizing your social media platform. So, yeah.
Well, guys, I think we have gotten all the information that I'm going to allow Miss Sylvia to give. Anything other than that, you got to come and subscribe.
Yes.
Find Miss Sylvia, get Sylvia-tized, and peace and blessings to you all. Love is love. Remember, it is good to love, but it's also good to receive love.
Have you heard of it yet? Mama Matrimony's digital wedding planner? Planning your own wedding? Want to do it by yourself but not feel like you're by yourself? I'm Asila Z. Carter, aka Mama Matrimony, a professional wedding planner who designed a fully digital wedding planner with you in mind. A wedding planner that helps you plan your own wedding from concept to completion, even if this is your first event. You also receive a bonus marriage planner, which helps you get a healthy start and build a strong foundation in the beginning of your marriage journey. Get your copy today at www.asilacarterweddings.com/Mama Matrimony.